I now call the next speaker, Baroness Fox of Buckley.
My Lords, yesterday UCU, the UK's largest academic union, had to cancel its online congress because, quote, they ran into technical problems. Could anything be more ironic, especially when one of the key matters for debate was the union's opposition to the government opening universities and the demand that all teaching be online? You really don't need a PhD to know that Zoom and Teams are not foolproof or lecturer-proof and are no substitute for face-to-face gatherings. I mention this because the greatest tragedy for students, it seems to me, is not fees per se, or numbers or algorithms, not even being locked up in their halls like prisoners or being accused of killing granny by a government minister. The real letdown is being abandoned by the official lecturers' body and far too many politicians who have sacrificed quality and personal engagement on the altar of safetyism. I declare an interest as a visiting professor at the University of Buckingham, and I commend the Vice-Chancellor and the staff of that university working with the student union who have maximised as much face-to-face teaching as possible within the restrictions, delivered that blended learning model. And the students have loved it, and so have the staff, and indeed rank and file staff and many of my colleagues from previous life around the country love teaching face-to-face, but are being stopped from doing so by management and indeed their own union. This is the cut and thrust of intellectual life, and it's far better than the stilted, awkward Zoom experience of here and now, in this room indeed. So can the Minister commit to really championing this higher education model based on live human interaction, and also challenge those managements and the UCU who I quote, who say that the non-essential teaching should be done online? I just want the Minister to ask, what is non-essential teaching? A bit like the Welsh Assembly's non-essential shopping, perhaps. But any institution that believes it delivers non-essential teaching doesn't deserve fees or students. But I would like to see the Minister and the Government fighting for better, championing face-to-face far more than they are, instead of getting caught up in the technicalities.
In relation to the Noble Lady, Lady Fox, and I welcome her to your Lordship's house. It's the first time I've had the pleasure of hearing her address your Lordship's house. She is, of course, as we know from schools, there is no replacement for the face-to-face nature of teaching, and I do commend the work of the University of Buckingham, and to answer, which is one of our private universities, and to answer the question that was raised by the Noble Lord Story, yes, any other institutions in the higher education sector that were regulated by the Office of Students, including private providers, were subject to the cap. And she is right that the blended offer is the best offer, and we commend that best practice to other institutions.